And I've already finished up this, what is it called? Powder, that's what it's called. Welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year. This is my first video for 2024. And honestly, until the other day, I didn't think that I would be doing this video. I did not think I would be doing a Pan That palette for 2024. If you've been following along for a while, you'll know that I haven't done a Pan That palette in the last few years because historically I haven't really been that successful. So I figured this year around I would just bring back my Pan Those eyeshadows and not do a Pan That palette at all, except for maybe a baby Pan That palette. But if you recently watched my Plan to Pan video, which I'll have linked up in the cards, I really want to get this palette out of my collection. I did think I could possibly do it as a Pan That face palette, but considering it has eyeshadows in it, it's not really a traditional face palette. So I've decided to do a Pan That palette utilizing my Emily Edit The Needs palette. You might already know that this palette is broken, which is one of the reasons that I would like to work it out of my collection. I do have a pretty decent amount of use on this palette, so it is far from brand new. And I've already finished up this powder up here, which was called Kindness. I think I did that in my Girl Fix Your Face videos, which I'll have linked up in the cards. Whoops. But like I said, I've just stuck my finger in that one, Honesty. I've already finished up Kindness, and I do already have a pan on Courage and Joy, as well as Love, this eyeshadow over here. So I thought that this might actually be a palette that I might find some success in. Obviously, my overall goal is to use this palette up completely, but I'm not silly enough to think that that might actually occur, especially considering I have quite a lot of powder left in this Gratitude shade, which is the highlighter in the palette. Overall, I love the concept of this palette, but I do think that this color story for the eyeshadows could have been done better, especially considering this shade Passion here. If you've been following along, you will know that I do not really understand why you've got a black pink shimmer shade with all these other quite light colored shades. It just doesn't really make sense for me, and I struggle to use it with all these shades in general, though it is quite a nice shade overall. So let me just give you some swatches of this. We'll start with the shade Courage. Like I said, this is the contour shade. That is it right there. Then we have the shade Joy, which is this blush shade. That's it right there. It is quite a nice blush. And then we have Gratitude, which is the highlighter, which actually is the highlighter I'm wearing today. So that is those ones just there. This Gratitude shade is definitely a glow within type shade for my skin tone. Now we'll jump into the eyeshadows. The first one here, this reddy colored one, reddy pink, is called Honesty. That's this one here. I think that's another thing. I think that this is Joy and this is Honesty. And yes, okay, Honesty is a lot deeper, but I feel like this shade itself could be used as a blush, which might have been the original purpose of it. It can be used obviously as an eyeshadow, but it does give you a different shade blush if you would like to try it that way. Then we have the shade Passion, which is that black pink shade. This is what it looks like. It is a gorgeous shade. I just don't see its relevance within this palette. Like, it does go nicely with this shade Honesty, but not really with the rest of the palette. Then this one Peace, which is kind of like a light peachy neutral color. That is it there. Next, down on the next one, we've got Faith. That one here. That's it there. Then we have the dark brown, which is the darkest matte in the palette, which I think is why I don't think that the black pink color up here really suits if this is the darkest matte in the palette. But that's Faith down there. And then last but definitely not least, we have Love, which is the only one I have pan in currently, which I think is the stereotypical like creamy light color you find in these type of palettes, the shades that I could personally use as a eyeshadow priming setting shade, or even as a powder. So I do think overall, if you look at these shades here, a lot of them can be multitasks, which I do think might have possibly been the point. So these shades along here can also be used from eyeshadow to shades that can be used on your face. So this could be used as a powder, as could this one Love. Faith and Hope could both be used as contouring shades, and definitely Honesty up here could be used as a blush. So I do think overall the palette is very multi-use, multi-dimensional. However, I really struggle to understand how Passion fits in here. I would have rathered a different type of pop of color, like maybe a mid-tone to a light lid shade, that type of shimmer, rather than that dark, deep Passion color. Like I said though, my goal is to completely use this palette up. The palette is broken, it's hard to store, and I don't take it away, which is the whole purpose of it, a travel palette, a multi-use palette. I don't take it away when I travel because it's broken and the shades themselves are not really what I'm looking for in this type of palette. In saying that, this palette might be exactly what you need. And considering that Emily herself called it the needs palette, I would think that maybe these are shadows that she needs when traveling. Just to be clear, this is a collaboration palette between Emily Noel and Revolution, Makeup Revolution. So I'll have Emily linked down below as well, just in case you would like to check out her channel. Though honestly, I'm going to go on a limb and assume that you have already checked out her channel before. So I will be taking a photo of this. And if you would like to see a photo montage of my progress in future videos, please let me know down in the comments. But this is my Pan That palette for 2024. Now, as you have probably noticed from the title of this video is featuring my baby Pan That palette. This isn't a project that I have previously been involved in, but I have been watching Paula and recently Jalon do baby Pan That palette for a while. I'll have both of them linked down below. And I figured, considering I have a small number of tiny palettes, that I would jump on board and do my own baby Pan That palette. I've decided to start off easy, and this Pan That palette, unlike my regular Pan That palette, is going to be ongoing. It isn't going to finish at the end of the year, but I thought I'd try to start myself off easy and bring in this little Essence Counting Stars highlighter and eyeshadow trio. So this is what this one looks like, and it is in the colorway 01 Make Your Own Magic. It is a gorgeous little trio that I have actually never touched, including never swatched. So you've got it here first. I'm going to be swatching this palette. So the shades themselves do not actually have names, but we'll start off with the only matte in the palette, which is this kind of light brown shade. That is it right there. That is very hard to see. I think that is actually going to be better as a transitional shade rather than a main color. Then we have this gold up here. It's definitely a deeper gold shade. See it right there. It's quite a lovely color. And last but not least, we have this lighter gold, this highlighter shade down the bottom here. So that is it right there. So those are the three shades in my Baby Pan That palette. And my goal for this palette is to completely use it up. Like I said, this isn't going to be a traditional 1 year palette, and I'm just going to keep working on my Baby Pan That palette until I use up all the shades, and then I'm going to roll in another Baby Pan That palette, and I'm going to continue doing so until I run out of these small palettes. But that is my starting point for these palettes. So to recap, for 2024, I'm going to be completing a Pan That palette using my Revolution The Emily Edit The Needs palette. And I'm also going to be doing a Baby Pan That palette utilizing the Essence Counting Stars trio in the colorway 01 Make Your Own Magic. So Pan That palette was originally created by Amber F, who I'll have linked down below, and it is a very regular occurring project. And I'm in fact not going to be the only person panning the Emily Edit The Needs palette for 2024. Rebecca from Panning and Stuff will be doing it as well, and I'll have her linked down below if you would like to check her out. Please also let me know down in the comments if you are currently panning this palette or even my Baby Pan That palette, so I can link you down in my description box so others will be able to find you. But that's all I have for you today. So I'm Verity. This was my introduction for my Pan That palette featuring my Baby Pan That palette. And now to the outro.